Hello, so I'm about 1 week away from my ayahuasca experience. I'm excited. I think I feel that my life's gonna never be the same anymore. So I'm extremely excited, but I'm a little nervous. I have been on their dieta for a week now. I have primarily been a vegetarian growing up, so I don't think that was ever an issue. But the hardest part for me was no use of cooking oils, no dairy, because I thought I could just throw in some, vegetables in a stir fry and just cook the typical vegetarian Indian meals, which are pretty sattvic. But I don't think that that was allowed. So meals have been challenging. And like I said, the hardest part is no dairy and no oils. The morning coffee, I just switched to decaf and I take sweet and low in it. I'm not sure if that's allowed, but I'm gonna check with them today because it's 1 week away and now the dieta is gonna be really serious for this. All right, one day more left for the ayahuasca. I have been keeping on the dieta. I have been eating no meat, no dairy, no cooking oils. I've been using ghee butter. Today I'm just having some juices and I'm gonna have some cauliflower that's stir fried in ghee and very little spices. Overall, I must say that I have been off my serotonin med, and which I just started recently, but still it had a big impact on how my life was, and I haven't taken it since the beginning of the month, which has been like over 2 weeks now. But my mood and my energy is really great. I've never been this happy. Well, it could be because I'm excited for the retreat, but it also could be because I'm not eating any animals, and I feel that the energies and the emotions they feel when they're at the slaughterhouse transfer into us through the food. I still have never been able to completely go off of meats, but I can tell you that I felt a difference and my vibration is pretty high. I'm feeling good. Now I'll update you next from the retreat. So excited. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give me lots of likes. About ayahuasca probably like 5 or 6 months ago, and once I find out about something I just have to go get it, and I was trying that when I came across a video that said that you don't go looking for ayahuasca, it comes looking for you. And so I quit looking for it, and then one of these days I was scrolling through TikTok and I found David and Megan's TikTok, and I was like, hey, let me take a look at it. And I really think that since it came looking for me, and the biggest miracle of it was that it ended up being in my backyard. I live like 30 minutes away from here, so it couldn't have been more meant to be, and I'm here. I don't know what my blocks are, but I do feel that there is some blockages that's stopping me from experiencing life to the fullest, and I hope to heal those, and I hope to heal the people that I have loved and hurt. That's beautiful. This is my first time experiencing this, and before I went into it, I was very curious to find out other people's experiences, and I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and it kind of helped me to know what to expect, sort of. But what I got out of it was completely not what I expected, in a good way, and I would like to share that with you in case it helps you on your journey. So I've been on a spiritual journey for quite a few years now, just trying different routes to finding peace, finding what blocks me, finding why life doesn't feel like I'm living it to the fullest. Something just didn't feel right. Something was blocking me in love, in career, in just building any kind of relationships. It was just, there just seemed to be some kind of a blockage. And I went into depression and, didn't know how to help myself. So just would try different things here and there. Sometime around the end of 2021, I came across ayahuasca, and I was just really intrigued by it. And the more I found out about it, the more YouTube videos I watched, the more intrigued I got about it. And I just wanted to do it. I just wanted to find a way to do it. And most of those retreats seem to be in another country, continent, in the Amazon or one of those countries, Costa Rica, Mexico, which I didn't know if I wanted to go that far yet. So, but I came upon a video on YouTube that said, the person said, Ranveer, actually you have to watch his channel, Beer Biceps. It's one of the most profound channels that I really enjoyed. He said that you don't go looking for ayahuasca, ayahuasca will come looking for you. So that at that point I stopped looking. Somewhere around January of 2022, I was watching a TikTok and I came upon David's TikTok, and I was intrigued because he was talking about psychedelic plant medicines and mushroom retreats that they do. So I was like, hey, I'm interested in the mushroom retreat. What's the details? He got back with me and he told me that the retreat that they were doing end of January was booked, and they were going to do another one in February, which the details were not yet etched out, and so they would get back with me. Then he got back with me and told me that there is just a slight change to the one that they're going to do in February, and they are adding ayahuasca. I thought, oh my gosh, ayahuasca did come looking for me. I guess it's time for me to go. So I signed up and I went. The whole experience was really, really beautiful, and I wrote down the experiences from day 1 and day 2, and I'm going to read off my experiences just so that I don't miss anything. And after I'm done reading, I will just give you a bottom line kind of closing thoughts. I will do a separate video about the mushroom experience. So the day 1 and day 2 were ayahuasca, day 3 was rest, and day 4 was mushroom. I will say that whatever I talk about in closing thoughts, it's more about the whole entire experience I had, including the mushroom ceremony, which was just as profound. But so keep that in mind. I'm not talking about only my ayahuasca experience because it's kind of difficult for me to separate the two. But here I go. Day 1. I went into the experience not scared like I thought I would be. I was very tired from the hectic day and very, very sleepy. It seemed like it took forever for the ceremony to finally begin, and I was very tired. Finally, I took the first cup. It was bitter but did not taste as bad as I expected. I just gulped it without tasting. It didn't take that long for it to take effect. It started with an image of goddess Durga, and then there was a montage of bright Thai-looking images of gods and goddesses mixed with some scary images. Then came my first urge to purge. As I purged in my bucket, I saw a face in my purge. Not very scary, but it was a dark, demonish image. I stayed leaning on my bucket, and every few minutes I would hear a whisper like someone said something in my ear, but when I looked up there was no one. Then I started seeing a whole bunch of geometrical patterns, and my whole body started tingling and my skin turned numb. I got so cold and could not get warm. This feeling with the combination of the imagery was just the most discomforting thing that I had just could not tolerate. I had lost the concept of time, so it felt like forever. Later I found out that it was probably just a few minutes. And I'm telling you, during this time, I repeatedly asked myself, did I really sign up for this? Did I really choose to put myself through this? And there is no way that I'm going to come back to tomorrow's ceremony. There is no way wild horses cannot drag me back to this feeling that I'm having right now. I felt like I had lost my skin, like I had tingling sensations all over, and I was just so uncomfortable, not in pain, but just so uncomfortable, so cold, so miserable. And the puke tasted like when I threw up, the ayahuasca came out or not, but it tasted so bad and I just couldn't make it stop. Then came my second purge. As I leaned over my bucket, I felt like I had to go to the bathroom. I ran to the toilet, and as I'm sitting on the toilet, I threw up all over the floor since I didn't have my bucket in there. When I came out, I asked myself over and over, why was I putting myself through this, and that I would never do this again. I was feeling no emotions, just this extreme physical discomfort, and the aftertaste of the purge, which was Aya, was the most horrendous. Then I had to go to the bathroom again. This time I took my bucket. As soon as I was on the toilet, I purged from both sides. The passing of poop did not feel like usual. The texture felt smooth and skinny and uniform. When I was done, I looked into the toilet and I could not believe there was no poop in there. What I saw was a yellowish brown, translucent, long, skinny snake, or like a fat worm. I knew I was conscious and I was sure this was not a hallucination, and trust me, it was not a snake it was not poop that was shaped like a snake. There was no poop in there. There wasn't, just a long snake. It had a red dot for an eye. It seemed like it was trying to reach out of the toilet with an open mouth. It had a little open mouth just trying to come out of the toilet. I flushed it down and was out of there. When I got back and tried to lie down and hopefully fall asleep so this could just stop, I could not take the discomfort anymore. Then I started hearing these most painful periodic sobs, really painful sobs of a woman, and they were amplified in my ears as if I was sitting inside like a sound booth with a woman just sobbing like painfully. I opened my eyes and realized it was the lady next to me, curled up in the tightest ball and sobbing. Her name was Cindy. But every time I closed my eyes, it felt like my mother was sobbing in a very lonely place. I asked her, "Mummy, ka radti hai tu?" That means, "Mom, why are you crying?" in Marathi. She didn't respond. Over the rest of the night, I kept asking her over and over again, "Mummy, ka radti hai tu?" But I never got a response. The shaman came to talk to me and I told him to make this stop. He said I had to go through it and there was nothing he could do to stop it. Then David, who's the reason I was at the retreat, he's also a shaman, he came to me. And I told him the same thing. I said, "I need you to make this stop." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because it's just so uncomfortable and I'm not seeing any visions of anything that is anything related to my intentions that I set. I'm not seeing my childhood, which I asked for because I didn't have any memories. I wasn't seeing anything that seemed like it was healing to me. All it was just a physical discomfort." He told me that it was for my ancestors if I wasn't feeling it. And I said, "I don't care. I don't want to do this for them. Just make it stop." And he said, this is a sacrifice that you have to make for them. This is a sacrifice. I laid back down, and after this, for the first day, I didn't write it down, but I'll tell you from memory, which is not much. Then I said to Mother Ayahuasca, Mother, please calm down on me. Please be gentle. I'm not being able to take this anymore. Please just let me chill. And then we were sleeping on the floor, and I opened my eyes, and there was, on the wall in front of me was a thermostat, and I saw David, and he was wearing a huge furry fleece thick robe kind of thing, and he wears that often, but I knew it was David, but I didn't see his face. His face was covered, and he came to do something on the thermostat, and I said, I wanted to say, I hope you're turning that up, but I didn't say it because I couldn't voice it. And he turned around really slowly, and he started walking away, and as he walked away, I got the feeling, or I was sent the message that he is God. And he said to me, as God, you don't have to say what you want. I understood. I got it. I have all your troubles now. You can rest. And I laid down, and 2 minutes later, I heard the most painful throwing up, just purging of a man. It sounded very violent and demonish and evil, and I looked around and I saw David. And apparently David, my God, had pulled something out of me, and he had purged it for me because I didn't have the strength in me at that moment. The next day I saw him do this for a couple of other people. He didn't say that he was doing it, but I could tell. And the sacrifice of this man, I can't tell you how amazed and how grateful I am. So that was my message for that night, that God, I saw God, and God told me, you don't have to say your troubles out loud. I heard you. I got you. I got you. I don't remember much from the rest of the night, the first night, but day 2. The night started just like last time, with my skin feeling all tingly and cold. The first sensation of a purge came, but then I was afraid from last night's experience that I was going to poop my pants. I heard a voice that said, I won't. I questioned it, and then it yelled in the back of my head, I won't let you poop. I said, whoa, okay, and tried holding on. Then I heard the voice say, didn't you ask for patience, surrender, and faith today for the ceremony? So David always set up 3 words for us for the ceremonies before they started. He said these 3 words should be our intentions also, and those words were patience, surrender, and faith. So this voice asked me, I asked, didn't you ask for faith? So have faith. So I showed some faith, and then the purge came and the poop didn't. I felt reassured in faith. This time there was no images. The second purge was more difficult. Every time I would bend over the bucket, it would go away. But the moment I sat up, I would have to go right back on my knees, down on my bucket. One of the facilitators came to me and tried to send me some help, but it did not come. The next time I looked up, there was a different facilitator who I had seen but not met before the ceremony, except for her name, and her name was Anna. I bent over the bucket again, and my hair was always bothering me, like getting inside the bucket, so I was constantly trying to move it out of the way every time I bent over the bucket. This time Anna tried to do that for me, to help me. She even tried to tie it into a ponytail, but it broke. At first I felt very grateful that someone was caring about me at such a basic level, like stroking my hair and getting it out of my face and tying a ponytail. But then I felt that she should not be touching me, as we had been strongly instructed before the ceremony not to touch anyone. I told her not to touch me, and then she moved further back. My purge just would not come, and now I felt that she was blocking it. I asked her to leave me to myself, and as soon as she walked away, the purge came all out. Next few minutes, or however long it was, she would keep appearing by my side every time I looked up. I would move my bucket to get away from her, but I look up and she was there again. I was almost annoyed at her. After the next purge, I was asked to lay down and rest. As I was resting, I got a message that I had my angels around me and trying to help me all the time, and I had been pushing them away. I thought of Anna and felt like I wanted to talk to her, and opened my eyes and saw her right there. I told her about this message, and she was so grateful that I called to talk to her, and I asked her if she was my angel. She smiled. I told her I was asking seriously. She looked at me, had a calm, wise look in her eye, leaned over and said, "Yes." I was like, "Are you telling the truth? Are you high from the ayahuasca?" She said she was telling the truth. I asked her what she was doing here, and she answered she was in a human form because she had chosen that. I asked her tons of questions, and I felt so blessed that I had actually met my angel, and she was right by my side. Even though I was pushing her away, even though I kept asking her to go away, she was still always there. I went to sleep by her, near her lap. She was sitting right by me, so I went to sleep right next to her, feeling extremely grateful. Then I felt like I had more questions to ask her, and I called upon her, and she came and talked with me for the longest time, giving me advice about my relationships, about my life, just lots of things, everything I had a question about. I just kept asking her questions, and she just had answers for me. Some seemed to resonate with me, some didn't. And I just felt, what better could I have gotten from this ceremony? I met God yesterday, and I saw God yesterday and felt Him, and I met and sat and spoke to an angel. I went to sleep again and started feeling really cold. I remembered Maegan, who's David's wife, who is also part of the masterminds of this ceremony. I remembered her saying that when we start feeling cold, that means that angels are working around us. I asked the angels why I didn't feel cold earlier when Anna was next to me, and why I didn't resonate with some of her answers. They told me that she is an angel, but in her human form she is confused, and she thinks she is my angel, but she's someone else's. But she can help me. She can help anyone she chooses. They told me to let her know that in the morning. Then I went to sleep. When I woke up, I felt everything was good now. I had met and spoken to an angel, and I was healed. Then I remembered my mom and asked if she was healed. I looked over to the lady next to me, who was sobbing and wailing in the tight fetal position yesterday. She was sitting very calmly, looking very peaceful. Her daughter was on my other side tonight, and she was having an extremely difficult night. She was howling, she was crying, she was intensely suffering. But Cindy, the mom, was just calmly looking at her daughter with detachment. This has always been, according to me, a source of misery for my mother. She could not detach from us. And when we did not behave or make choices according to her advice, she feared and worried and got miserable that she couldn't control us, ruining our lives. But now, looking at Cindy, I got the answer that she had healed from that. The moment I knew I was okay and Mom was okay, the guitar started strumming and I started tapping my feet, and it seemed like a movie, and I was happy and felt the healing was a success, and this trip was worth it. Then it was time to rest. In the morning, I woke up with one of the shamans singing the loudest songs I could imagine, and I was a little annoyed to be woken up like that. Then it was time to cleanse everyone. So they do kind of a cleansing in the morning because so much has released in the night, so they don't let us end the ceremony, or they don't leave the ceremony without cleansing us all. So during this cleansing, we are supposed to keep our eyes closed. During this time, I felt sad because, of learning about, people had done their shares or talked about their experiences just before the cleanse, and they had all talked about profound feelings of joy and love, and I had not felt anything profound. I felt that all the messages I got, all the feelings I got were quite human feelings, and I didn't feel anything outwardly. And I was also sad that Anna was not my angel, that she was an angel but not my angel. So I felt sad that I had no profound feeling of love and joy like the other people described in their share just before the cleanse. I asked Ayahuasca, Mother Ayahuasca, why she did this to me, and why she had not shown me my childhood and the big things that might be affecting me. She said, because you're not ready. What if I don't feel motivated to put myself through this and go back to the ceremony again? I asked. I'll come get you, she said, and added, I have given you everything you need to realize your best life and release the blocks from your life and all the struggles that you are going through at this juncture. You will now go back with the tools to live your best life, and when you're ready, I'll come get you. Then the cleanse ended and I laid back down. I asked her if she was still there, and she said, yes, but I'm leaving now. Then I slept a little, and when I woke up, I asked, how will I remember this conversation? A voice said, close your eyes and ask me and I'll replay it for you. I said, I thought you were leaving. The voice said, she did leave, but I am you. I said, what do you mean, you? It said, I am your higher self. Now on, you have the ability to talk to me at any time. I said, why didn't I have that ability before? You were being blocked by the trickster entity that David purged for you yesterday, it said. Why are you addressing me as you if you are me? I said. To make it conversational, it said. Then it told me, your children are fine. They do not have trauma because they are angels like Anna. They were born to heal you and their father. They'll be healing lots of people, and their detached love, which you complain about, is what will keep them from taking the pain on themselves while healing others. I was overjoyed to hear this. I almost teared up. I asked the voice lots of questions, and it kept answering them clearly and without doubt. I felt empowered. Throughout the rest of the day, I kept getting more answers from this voice. And as I spoke to David, Kristen, Anna, and more people there, I felt more and more gratitude for this trip and excitement to see what my life is going to look like now that this understanding and skills and calm and peace are with me. So that's what I wrote down, and I think that I am healed from whatever was blocking me. I cannot tell you how much I recommend, if you feel the calling. You're gonna curse yourself. You're gonna be so mad at yourself when you are going through the painful purging and the puking and the sensations. You're gonna be like, why am I putting myself through this? You're gonna hate yourself at that time, but you are going to come out of it, and you are going to understand why you went through all this pain, and you're going to be so grateful. You're going to be so amazed. This place, these people, David and Megan's entire team was just so selfless, just so filled with love, and their energy rubbed off on every person in the ceremony. All of us, we call ourselves patients, all of us were healed, all of us were filled with love and acceptance. All of us, we didn't care about anything but acceptance and peace and gratitude. Just gratitude. Just please comment below and let me know about your spiritual journey. Share something about your life. Tell me if you've done ayahuasca retreats, or what is your spiritual journey. I want to know. Please share. I'm going to make a separate video about the mushroom ceremony that followed 1 day after, 2 days after this, and that was the icing on the cake, and that sealed the entire experience for me. And it was not like any other. I've never done mushrooms, but from what I hear, a bunch of friends sit together and just take it and go from there. But this was nothing like it. This was an entire ceremony. It just felt like the most sacred thing, and I got some special gifts from that night, and I'm going to share those in another video because this video is getting kind of long. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Aho.